Thank you everyone for joining me here today. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Tradogram. My name is Majdi, first of all. I work business development at Tradogram. So I'm going to start by talking a little bit about what Tradogram is all about and what it has helped companies do. Tradogram is a software that went live in early 2014 to help companies in around 60 plus countries worldwide to manage something very simple. Something really simple, yet we think is really important. It's the secret ingredient that has helped companies in about like Costco and Walmart become as successful as they are. So this presentation is going to be a little bit different than any other presentation that you might have attended today, just because it's not really just primarily focused on construction, but rather about any industry really can use the software. So I'm going to be talking about spend management. Spend management is basically anything, like any money that's leaving the company to procure things. So whether you're buying components to create an end product and sell it, or you're buying a product for resale. Anything that you buy as products and services to run your business, to run your company, is part of spend management, which also includes your procurement process. So having a spend management tool is really important to kind of make sure that your company is always consolidating all of its spend in one place. So don't be like these guys. We all know that duct tape can fix a lot of things, but it cannot fix your company's expenditure. Make sure that your earnings are not slipping through spending cracks and then trying to find a quick fix every time. You want to make sure to have a system in place, a systematic way for all of your employees to be able to log in anything that they buy to get the right approval and so on. So what is Tradogram, you might be asking? We believe Tradogram is the future of spend management. It's going to help you kind of consolidate all your spending in one platform, in one specific place. If you've ever used any cloud solutions before, Tradogram is completely cloud-based and you can access it from anywhere, from any device. So if your employees are out in the field, they're looking to log an expense or even buy something to create a purchase order or something like that, they can easily do that right through their cell phone or tablet or even on their desk on a PC. So Tradogram is actually going to help you improve three main areas in your business. So it's going to help you improve spend visibility. In order to make the right decisions, you need accurate and timely data. So when you come to buy something, what's the first thing you look at? You look at your budget. Do we have enough budget to spend the money on the thing that you're looking to buy? So Tradogram is going to help you get that quick access to these budgets in order to make faster decisions a lot quicker. Second is Tradogram is going to help you improve process efficiency. So your routine tasks of maybe creating a purchase order and getting an approval might be done on two different systems. You don't have a systematic way to do it. Negotiating with multiple vendors for the best price could also be still done on emails. Logging an expense, like today you guys are in here, you're at a trade show. I'm sure you've signed like a budget for the trade show of how much you're going to be spending. So when you want to log in an expense, you can easily do that on Tradogram as well. Finally, and most important, is that Tradogram is going to help you improve your bottom line. So you're working every day to work on increasing revenues, but there's another side to your bottom line, and that's cutting costs. You need to make sure that you're always cutting costs and lowering your costs to increase your revenues. So make sure to take advantage of the secret ingredient and put a system in place to help you in managing spend at your company. Before I get deeper into this, I'd like to show you a live demo of Tradogram. And I have a special guest with me, Kyle, that is going to be joining me on stage. And we're going to go through a demo, a live interactive demo, to kind of show you the application, show you how it can be used, and how easy it is to use.
Yeah, well, how's everyone doing? Is everyone having a good time at the building show today? I noticed, Madge, you had in that last slide you showed, there was a vial of something and you were talking about a secret ingredient. Do you have that for sale? Did you bring any of that with you?
Unfortunately not, no.
Oh no, it's not?
We don't sell those.
Okay, so
sign up to Tradogram.
you just handle the software side of things then?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. But all right, yeah, so there's no need for an introduction on my part, as Madge said. Well, as I'm going to say, this is about Tradogram, it's not about me, but I am from Conduct Construction, and we've recently gone through a bit of a restructuring process in the company, and I don't want that to be a construction pun, but it ended up being one. But in that process, we actually ended up losing our director of operations, and so we've been kind of scrambling to take over his role, and I kind of got caught holding the bag, and so it's been a bit of a logistical nightmare trying to fill that role. And so I'm really interested in seeing what this software can do to help me with my problems. And I mean, what better way to showcase the software than with a live demo?
Absolutely, I think it's a great idea to kind of have it interactive and live, and I can answer any questions you have and show you exactly how the software can handle your spend management.
All right. So I guess before we get started, I mean, this is a demo, right? So I know how demos usually work. You're probably going to try and show me all the bells and whistles. You're going to say, you know, it can do this, it can do that. And that's all well and good, but what I'm really interested in is how this software can help me with my problems in my company. For instance, we order products and materials from 12 different suppliers, both inside and outside of the province. Sometimes those orders include what seems like 20 different types of wood. I didn't even know there were that many kinds of wood. They're cut into what seems like there's 200 different shapes and sizes and cuts of wood. Is there any way that this software could help me keep track of all that chaos?
Absolutely. One of the main things that we help users do is kind of build out their items database so that they can kind of have one system to kind of host all of their items that they regularly purchase. Every item that they buy would have a profile in here. They can easily import a list from Excel as well and have their items hosted in the application. You can also import a list of your regularly used vendors that you're buying from. So if you have a list of vendors that you're always kind of communicating with when you're placing orders, you can have those hosted in the system, which is really important because when your employees are going in and they're ordering from Tradogram, they want to be able to have quick access to all the items and suppliers databases so that they can move forward with whatever work they're working on and place the order really fast and just get to track it from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. It looks like as well you're able to add images to the items that you list here, which I think is probably my favorite feature because as I mentioned, keeping track of all those different cuts and shapes, some of the times when I'm ordering stuff, I don't even know what it looks like. So it's kind of nice to have a visual placeholder there for all that stuff. Of course, once we're done ordering stuff, leads me to think of something else is, of course, reporting to the finance department. We have to, of course, report to them. I sometimes have to wave goodbye to my computer desktop because I've got, 12 different spreadsheets from different projects open all the time. I have to be manually importing orders all the time into that spreadsheet. It's a real tedious process. I don't know from a financial tracking standpoint if there's a way that Tradogram can help me simplify that process.
Yes, actually, that's a great question because when you're putting in a spend management tool or process, you want to make sure that you're always tracking your budgets. And one of the main things that a lot of companies use is the budget tracking system in here, which they can easily go into the system and set up. And here's a good example of it. So it gives you visual analytics of each one of your budgets with how much is remaining on each budget. A lot of construction companies have actually found that one of the most useful budget tracking tools is the project's budget. So you can set up all the projects and jobs that you're working on in the system and then easily log any purchases to that job. Establishing a job in Tradogram is very simple and straightforward, and then you have a spend report down here that just kind of logs all the spend that you've linked to that project.
All right, yeah, that looks really cool. So I guess I could just let finance log into this and pull the relevant information that they need. I don't know if there's any way to pull that information and maybe put it into a report or something like that, because of course finance has to publish the reports to make sure we're keeping track of everything.
Absolutely. All the reports are in here are exportable. You can export them to CSV, which is just an Excel template. Other than the reports on projects, you can also create reports built in the system. You can build your own reports and have those available, make it available to different users, and you can also download those into CSV files as well.
All right, yeah, that's great. I'm just thinking though, because it's not always about ordering products myself. A lot of the time the construction guys out there in the field, they end up needing things that they don't necessarily have access to. Sometimes that's an oversight on our part. Sometimes we start a build and we don't order everything that they need. Other times, stuff gets lost, stuff gets broken, and they need to replace it. We're lucky when they take the time to, henpeck out an email about what they need, because that's legible. We can read that. But unfortunately, a lot of the times they end up using the old pen and paper method, and that can cause some problems. A lot of the times when paper orders come across my desk, I have to go and talk to my coworker Bill. I'll tell you a little bit about Bill because I think he's worth describing. He's a big guy. He's got frizzy hair, huge beard that covers his whole face. I think he's in the right line of work in construction, although I think he'd also fit in as a lumberjack or a hockey player. But why am I telling you this? It seems like I'm going off track a little bit, right? Well, it's more relevant than you might think, because honestly, I'm convinced that Bill is part grizzly bear. And sometimes when those papers come across my desk, it seems like they've been attacked by grizzly bears with pens. So I have to go to Bill. I have to get him to explain what exactly is written on the page. The process usually goes something like this. I go, Bill? He goes, yeah. I look at the paper. Bill, I can't read this. He goes, uh-huh. I go, Bill, are you going to help me figure out what's written down here? Mm-hmm. And that's the little ritual we've established. So, and of course, the worst part of the whole process is that the construction workers, they don't know what's going on, so they're left in the dark. They don't know when they're going to be receiving their supplies, and the communication kind of breaks down. I don't know if in that kind of a scenario there's some way Tradogram can help us to keep track of things.
I think I can help you kind of establish your relationship a lot better with Bill there. What a lot of companies use is something what we call is requisitions. You give requisitions, or you give your employees access to these requisitions where they can go in and place their orders in a more standardized format. So they just open up one of these forms, list out all the products that they're looking to buy, whether from the database or from external items, and send it off to the right person to approve, and it'll land on your computer.
Speaking of talking to people, though, I've been talking to a few suppliers around at the building show today. We got another project coming up, and I need a ton of steel beams, so I'm looking for someone I can buy from in bulk. And I found a couple people that might actually be able to help me out with that. Of course, I still have to follow up with them after the trade show, but yeah, I'm trying to think of a way. If I've got all of my suppliers and items and stuff listed here on Tradogram, if I'm then going to go and reach out to one of those suppliers, say that I met today, am I not going to have to convince them to also use Tradogram? Because I'm terrible at giving pitches. I feel like that should be your job.
Actually, no, just a lot of procurement softwares do require you to onboard your suppliers and have them use it. While on Tradogram, you have the option where you don't need to even invite your suppliers, or even they don't need to know about Tradogram. So if for the example that you had about negotiating with multiple suppliers, you can easily do so by creating requests. Requests can be used as RFQs or RFPs to kind of negotiate with multiple suppliers. So you shoot off this email with a list of items you're looking to buy on a request form, and they just basically click through to that request through the email, fill out the details of their offer, and send it back to you. And then you can receive it on Tradogram and compare all the offers side by side and pick the right supplier for the job.
Wow, all right. It looks like that kind of covers the RFI, the RFQ, the RFP process. That's something I still get mixed up. I don't know when one phase ends and the next one begins sometimes. And of course, keeping track of the emails is always a nightmare. So it's kind of nice that you got a little hub here that lets you have everything all in one place. And I guess the best part is, it sounds like you mentioned that they don't have to be on Tradogram, so I don't have to give them a sales pitch or anything. So say I find the supplier then that I want to order from in bulk. What's the next step in this process then?
So basically the next step, which a lot of companies go through, is the P2P process, which is creating your purchase orders in the system. So you can easily flip a request into a purchase order, track all your purchase orders in here. You can customize the look and numbering and everything on the POs. And then from there, the system will help you even track delivery of the orders. So once you place the orders, you can go into the deliveries tab. You can give access to different users in the company, maybe someone in the warehouse, to receive the goods and make sure that you complete a two-way match, making sure that you're always receiving what you had originally ordered. And then finally, you get to also reconcile your invoices. So you can host all your bills that you receive from your vendors, keep a record of all your invoices in here, and make sure that you're only paying for what you had originally ordered on the PO and what you actually received.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to think of any other, I mean, I didn't expect the software to be this comprehensive with all this stuff in it. I'm just trying to think of any other scenario that I might potentially like a software like this to cover. I think, what if you want to go back in the system and log something? Say, for example, there's like a cost that you don't necessarily anticipate and it comes up and you want to go back in the system and log that. I mean, even just coming here today to the trade show, of course at the airports they usually apprehend all your water and stuff at security, and then you're left at the mercy of the expensive vending machines and the Tim Hortons sandwich shops. So, you know, I might have bought a snack or two even just getting here, or three, you know. I usually fall victim to those. But and even ordering the Uber just to get here, if I wanted to go back in the system and log a cost like that, what would I do? Would I have to go and make like a fake purchase order or something like that?
So no, actually, just like all the modules on Tradogram, you can turn on and off whatever feature you're going to use. So that's kind of one of the things that's really special about Tradogram, is that we do have an expense module. As you see here, it's not in the sidebar, but I can easily go into a user's profile and settings, and I can turn on the expenses in here. And that way that user is going to have the ability to go in now and log any expenses that they might come through and create an expense record for it and get an approval and get reimbursed right through the system.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to thank you so much for showing me this amazing software here. Just to go over it, I guess I'll be able to keep track of the hundreds of orders I do every day. I'll be able to keep track of my snack debt at the airport. Won't have to take grizzly bear literature lessons with Bill, and I guess I won't have to add duct tape to my list of items, because I think we'll find a better spend management solution here with Tradogram.
For sure. Well, thanks a lot, Kyle, for joining me. One last thing before we wrap this up. So what does the future of spend management really entail? I was talking about that earlier. You want to remember three main points. So you want a system in place that's flexible. As you saw, Tradogram is really flexible. You get to pick the modules that you want to use. You get to pick the user permissions for every user that's accessing the system. It's going to work with you and not having to change your processes to implement Tradogram. Second is that you want a system like Tradogram that's very mobile, right? These days we're very on the go, so you want a system that you can access from anywhere, check your budgets, approve something on the go, create a PO on the go.
And you don't have time for construction workers to be sitting there punching in their order with the henpecks on their phone.
Exactly. Or even writing them on pieces of paper. And lastly is affordability. So Tradogram is really affordable. We talked about spend management. We talked about cutting costs. You don't want a system in place that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. You want a system that can work with you again. So we've made Tradogram subscription based, and it's only a per user subscription fee per month. It's almost like paying a Netflix subscription, for example, and it's almost the same price too. But that's about it about Tradogram. Thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to open it up for any questions that anyone might have about Tradogram.